Okay, guys, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, so today I've just come live to share with you the foundations that you need to be able to study abroad. And there has been a lot of misconceptions and a lot of things that people do talk about that are not really true. And today I've come your way to share with you the basic foundations that you need to have if you are really serious and you really want to travel abroad for studies. So this conversation is basically meant for people who really want to, study abroad. If you are not prepared to travel to study in Europe, Canada, US, or some of the Asian countries, then this live video is not for you. It's basically meant for people who are eager and desperate to travel. And so I want to lay the key foundations or the principles that you need to have to be able to start your study abroad journey. So the first one that you need to look at for if you want to study abroad is one, you have to be determined and desperate. I have noticed that some of you are not desperate at all. Some of you are not desperate and you are not determined. You are just, kind of like following other people and all that. No. If you really want to study in the US, in Canada, in Europe, the first thing that you have to do is that you need to be desperate and determined. So don't tell me that, oh, abrochie de any desperation. Oh, you don't have to be desperate. No, you have to be desperate and determined because it is your desperation, determination, and perseverance that produce results. Because if you are not desperate and you are not determined, you will just sit aloof, feel comfortable in the situation that you are in. You wouldn't be motivated to take any action. You'll be comfortable with the little job that you're doing, and you're going to miss a lot. And so, the first thing that you need to have if you really want to study in the US, you want to study in Canada or Europe as a high school graduate or as an undergraduate, thinking of going to do masters or PhD, then you need to be desperate, you need to be aggressive, you need to be resilient, you need to be determined and have that perseverance spirit. If you have just this, if you're able to set this right, I can promise you that you are going to succeed. Because a lot of people that have actually come to me and they engage me in the conversation, and I talk, when you talk to them, they seem to have that kind of fear. Oh, and if any saying Madam Fueko US no so called yeah. You see, we tend to listen to all these stories that do not really produce any meaningful results. So if you really serious and you want to travel abroad, the first thing that you need to have is make sure that you are desperate, because if you are the desperation that you have, that kind of the resilience, the determination, would motivate you to take steps or actions towards what you're doing. For instance, if you're not desperate to travel, you are not determined, you don't have that spirit of perseverance. Nothing encourages you to go for your transcript. Nothing encourages you to go for your transcript. If you're not determined and you're not desperate to travel, nothing will encourage you to go to even study hard at the university to get a higher grade or a better grade. If you're not desperate and determined and aggressive to travel, nothing will push you to go and get a passport. If you're not desperate to travel and all that, nothing will push you to even chase your professors or lecturers for recommendation letters. Nothing's really going to push you. And so for me, when I engage young people who are really serious, they are not comfortable with their situation in Africa, in Ghana, in Asia, and they really want to travel, and I look at the tone, how they are sounding, it tells me that these are people who are not really serious. They don't mean business. They don't really want to change anything around them. They feel comfortable in their situation and they are just okay at where they are. And then they tend to put so much pressure on their siblings and their relatives who were desperate some years back, and they were able to make it to the US, to Canada, to Europe, and they put so much pressure on them. I can tell you that if you are able to exercise that spirit of desperation, aggressiveness, seriousness, determination, perseverance, that is the first step that you need to have. And so if you are here and you are thinking of advancing your education, advancing your career to the next level, you need to be desperate, because traveling abroad is not a joke. It is not only about prayers. No, it is not only about prayers. Prayers is good. I believe in God. I believe in prayers. But your desperation, your determination, resilience will produce the desired results that you actually need. So, guys, remember that your desperation and your resilience, determination, and perseverance will produce the results that you need. I know some of you have tried, you know, uh, you've tried the first time, you didn't get the visa. You've tried second time, you didn't get the visa, and you have given up. Hey, don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. If you are giving up, you will lose the battle. Don't give up yet. If you have applied for 2, 3 schools last year, last 2 years, and you didn't get admission, you didn't get a scholarship, you were not able to, go, or you were not able to travel. Okay, don't give up yet. If you give up, that is the end of you. You need to be determined. You need to be determined. You need to be serious. You need to be resilient. You need to be aggressive. You need to be desperate. Because if you are desperate and you are aggressive and you are determined, they are going to produce you results. Those desperation, aggressiveness, resilience, they are the very values, or they are the very ethics, or they are the very things that will motivate you to take actions towards the next step. So I've talked about these 3 things as one point. First, I said you need to be desperate. Desperation is serious. Don't let somebody sitting somewhere and tell you, say, oh, Abrochiko there, you should not be desperate. Oh, man, you're desperate. Just God's time is the best. No, it will not work. How many years have we prayed thinking of going to abroad? You've prayed, fasted and fasted and fasted and fasted for good 10 years and nothing has changed. If you do that boko, I'm just being honest with you, you are going to remain there forever. Nothing is going to change. You need to change the tactics. You cannot expect different results and do the very things that you've been doing over and over and over. No. So the first foundation that you need to set it right as we are in 2023, and as we are as admissions have opened for the fall semester, which start in August, September. This is a time for you to be desperate. You should be aggressive. You should be serious. You should be resilient. You should be determined. Don't let anybody obstruct you. Don't let anybody, discourage you. Don't let anybody obstruct you that, oh, you don't need to be desperate. You are too desperate. You are too desperate. No, these are naysayers, and these are people who don't want you to progress. No. The era that we are in requires you to be desperate, aggressive, resilient, persevere, have that spirit of perseverance, and be determined to move. The second thing I want to talk to you about is your finances. Very, very, very important. If you want to travel abroad to study in Europe, Canada, or US, you need to be disciplined about your finances. You cannot travel to any of these countries if you are not disciplined about your finances. Some of you don't even save at the bank. You are doing your savings on your Momo, which is terrible, is bad. I want to tell you that the savings that you're doing, your mobile money, is not good, because the mobile money cannot generate a bank statement for you. Listen and listen carefully. Listen and listen very well. The Momo savings that you're doing will not be able to generate bank statement for you when you need it to apply for your visa. It is important that you check your finances. Finances is one of the key things that you need or you require to be able to, travel. I would encourage you guys that you need to be disciplined about your finances. How do I go about the finances situation? Now, if you want to travel to Canada or US or Europe, one of the caveats, one of the key things that they require you to produce is a bank statement. And this is where we lack as Africans. We don't save. Even if we are saving because we do not want to pay the bank charges, we end up saving the money in our Momo wallet. Remember that saving that money on your Momo wallet will not produce you the bank statement that you need. When you do your school applications and you get to a point where you will need a bank statement, let's say even $1,000, even when you have gotten a full scholarship, but they require you to produce a bank statement of $1,000 to support your visa application, and you don't have a personal bank account. This is serious. It's going to hurt you. And so I'm here to encourage you and to advise you against saving on your Momo wallet. Make sure you have opened a personal bank account. Make sure you look for a credible bank and open a bank account. Do your personal savings from there. Those of you who are working, make sure at least you have one personal savings account. If it is a checking account, have a conscious, deliberate savings that you're doing. The money that you've been spending on your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or other family people, I'm not saying it is bad to spend money on your family members. It is good, but this is 2023. And if you look at the things that are going on in Ghana, if you look at the things that are going on in Africa, and you really want to advance your career, you really want to travel to study in Europe, Canada, or the US, I will encourage you that start saving money in your bank account now. Even if you are not earning so much money, the 50 cedis, the 100 cedis, the 20 cedis and all that, do a deliberate savings, because a time will come that when you do the applications and you say you want to go to France, you want to go to Belgium, you want to go to Estonia, you want to go to Latvia, you want to go to Czech Republic, if you want to go to Canada, the US and all that, you'll be required, or to go to the UK, you'll be required to produce a bank statement. Even if you are given a full scholarship, sometimes some scholarship comes with the fact that you need to produce, let's say, a bank statement of, let's say, $1,000. And at that point, you don't even have a personal bank account. You are not going to chase somebody who is in the US. You're not going to chase an uncle living somewhere in the UK. You're not going to chase a lecturer somewhere that, say, dog, can you give me what do you call a bank statement of, of 10,000 Ghana cedis so that I can use it to support my visa application? They will not mind you. They will not mind you. So take a key lesson from this. I greet Michael and, Nana Chuneboy and, Daniel. I greet all of you guys. Thank you guys for joining me this, first Sunday service. So I will encourage you that at least do your personal savings. Have a deliberate, conscious plan to the point that you don't withdraw money from that personal savings account. You could have your your checking account, which is where you receive your salary from. You could also manage or run your checking account, which is your paycheck account, correctly. Save money deliberately, consistently. Do your personal savings. If it is 20 cedis every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, do it and get your personal bank account, because it is going to help you. The reason why you are not getting your visa approved is because you rely so much on other people's bank statements. You rely on other third parties who are not affiliated to you. You rely on their bank statement, and so the embassy or the visa officer does not trust you, because he knows that the bank statement that you have produced, is not coming from you, and that it is coming from a third party, and that third party has no connection or relationship with you. It is very important that those of you who are studying, who want to do a master's degree or a PhD degree, it is very important that you have a personal bank account and you are doing savings. Those of you who are married, who have spouses, talk to your spouses, have a deliberate savings plan that you're doing. Have one bank account that you're doing. That will help you to be able to prepare prepare your travel plans, because if you don't do it that way and you are just all over the place, you're saving your money on Momo wallet, you're doing your savings and everything, I can promise you and I can assure you that, hey, you're going to be in a big trouble. When the D-Day comes and you're supposed to produce a bank statement and you don't have any, whom are you going to rely on? But let's say you have done consistently. Traveling is not just a one-day event. It is a process. Immigration is not a one-time event. It is a process, especially those of you who want to make a second country your home. For instance, some people are Ghanaians, they want to make UK as their home, they want to make Canada as their home. It is a continuous process. And so therefore you should make sure that whatever that you're doing, you are planning towards it, you're planning towards it. So you should have a personal bank account. Very important. Do a deliberate savings. You and your spouse talk about it, decide, do some savings there. Do some savings consistently, because when you do your admission and they give you admission letter, it is now time for you to go and apply for a visa. The embassy will ask you to submit a 3-month bank statement showing your transaction. So these are so if you have joined us now, we are talking about foundations to traveling overseas to study, foundations towards towards studying abroad. So I'm giving you the key foundations that you need to have. For those of you in Ghana, those of you in Africa, Asia, and even in Europe that you want to migrate from UK, from Europe, or from whatever it is, to go to the US or to go to Canada to study. I'm doing this. We are talking about the key foundations that you need to have to be able to make a decision to travel to study. And so if you have joined late, I mentioned about being resilient, being aggressive, being desperate, and I also mentioned about, being determined. Now we are talking about the second point, which I mentioned that you need to check your finances, be disciplined about your finances. Look, people who get the visa approved, they are not rocket science. Visa approval sometimes is not about prayers and fasting. No, it is about following the laid down procedures, and that is why I'm sharing some of the laid down procedures, or some of the key things that you need to keep in mind if you have any intention of traveling abroad to study. And so I will encourage you that stay with me as we go deeper into this topic, or as we talk about this. So do work on your finances, work on it, deliberate savings. Talk to your girlfriend, talk to your boyfriend, do a deliberate savings. Give yourself like a year. Even if you think this year is not possible for you to travel overseas, okay, you can plan doing the savings now. Build a very strong foundation. I can assure you that if you're able to do a savings, you're able to have a personal savings account of 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, that is really great. This bank statement of just 20,000, 15,000 Ghana cedi can help you travel to Denmark, can help you travel to Estonia, can help you travel to Lithuania, can help you travel to Austria. Because some of these European countries, you don't need big money to be able to get their visa. No, you don't need big money. It is because of our failure to save money. That is why we have the challenges of getting our visas approved. And so if you want to study abroad, then you need to do something about your personal bank account. Start doing savings on your own. Don't rely on your uncle, your father, your mom, your dad sitting somewhere. No. Be desperate and have a deliberate plan on your own. Do your personal savings. Do a deliberate savings to the point that you'll be able to raise at least $10,000 or even $9,000. If you're able to do that savings and you don't even meet that target, but if you're able to do that savings and you get like $5,000, $4,000, that is good enough. If somebody wants to even help you, then a person will be able to get you a lesser bank statement, or the person will be a second sponsor. Then you yourself will be the first sponsor. The embassy can trust you and say, oh yeah, Kwame or Daniel or Keo Fosu has enough money in his bank account, and that if I give him the visa, when he goes to Canada, when he goes to US, he is likely to return because he has this. The next foundation that you need to lay, that many of you have been ignoring, and I want to share that with you. All these that I'm sharing them with you, they are things that I have practiced, they have worked for me, and that is why I have been able to travel to the US, I've traveled to Canada, I've gone to Finland, and I'm here. And so I'm sharing them with you so that you can learn a lot of things from it. You are not paying for it, it's free. So make sure that as you are watching, share this broadcast, share it with people who, your family, your friends, your colleagues who are thinking of traveling. Share this broadcast with them. Let them know the key foundations that they need to build if they really want to travel abroad to study. The next thing that I really want to talk about that you should take it very serious is your assets. Assets, and or what people call it wajapade. In Dakan, people call it wajapade. Assets, properties. I've noticed that some of you have assets or properties that could help you to travel, but you don't know how you can use it to your advantage. And so I'm going to teach you how you can use these assets to help you get a visa to travel to study in Europe. I'm going to give you the key point. Now, remember that as part of the requirement, you need to prove your social ties with your home country. If they want to give you a US visa, a Canadian visa, an European visa, or an Asian visa, you need to prove to the embassy that you have social ties or you have ties with your home country, and that your asset that you have is one of the things that you could use to convince the officer that, hey, if you give me the visa, I'm likely to return because I have these assets. So I'm going to share with you some of the assets that you need to have as part of the foundations towards traveling abroad. I'm going to share with you some of the assets that you need to assets that you knew them or you know them, but you don't know how you can use them to your advantage. The first asset that you need to have, or if you don't have it, you need to start building, is your family. Your family is your number one asset. Those of you who are married, your wife, your husband, your children are your number one social asset that you can rely on to travel overseas. So if you have gotten to a point where you need to get married and you are not getting married, you are 30 years, 32 years, 33 years, 40 years, 50 years, you are not married. Even if you are married, you have not gone to register your marriage in court. Hey, I'm here to inform you that your wife is very important. Your husband is very important. That marriage that you are joking with is a very important asset that you can rely on to travel overseas to study. It's a very important asset. And so don't joke with your family ties, or don't joke with the nuclear family that you have, your wife, your husband, your children. Don't joke with them. I'm here to tell you that one of the social assets that you need to have is your wife, your husband, or your family. Somebody will say, oh, now my wife, how important is my wife, or how irrelevant is my husband in terms of me getting a visa to go to Europe, to go to Canada or US. Let me show you how important it is. Now, those of you who will be applying to US, UK, European visas and what have you, when they ask you to prove that you have a social ties in Ghana, of course, if you're able to produce your marriage certificate for them to know that, oh, you are married, oh, you want to go and study, and that, oh, you're already married, you have 2 kids, you have evidence, documents that shows that you've married this woman or you've married this man, okay? That alone convinces the visa officer, gives you like 20% chance of your visa being approved. That marriage criteria alone can give you 20% chance that the visa officer will trust you, because the white people believe that people who are married are very responsible people, and they know that there is no way you will travel to Europe or Canada or US and not return to your family or not return to your children. It is very important that you register your marriage at the law court, but it's very important you get a certificate that shows that you are married to this woman or to this man. Don't just do the traditional marriage and be okay or be comfortable. No. Go beyond the traditional marriage. If you have a certificate to prove that you are married to this person, that is fine. The important thing is that you should have a certificate to prove that you are married to this woman or to this man. And you should have pictorial evidence, not only producing the certificate, but you should have pictures that shows that this person, you actually married this person, or you married your spouse on this date, and these are the pictures. Those days where people were getting visas without producing pictorial evidence to support their marriage, those days are gone. I'm informing you, I'm teaching you the new immigration policies or the new immigration things that you need to be aware of. I'm trying to tell you that these are the things that you need to be aware of. And so I would encourage you that your wife, your husband, your marriage is your number one social asset that you can use. Because as soon as you're able to add your marriage certificate, you're able to add some pictures that shows your marriage ceremony and all that. Excuse me. As soon as you're able to, add your marriage certificate, your pictures to the embassy, and they are able to know that, hey, I am married to this person, they will believe you 20%, like I said earlier. They will know, one, you are a very responsible man or a responsible woman. Two, they know they give their visa when you go, you will come back because you have a wife, you have a husband, you have children in Ghana, and that you are not going to overstay, you will come back. And so if you want to study abroad, you should endeavor to respect that marriage that you are in. So I've talked about the social asset. Your next asset that you need to have is your property. Some of you have cars, you have transport businesses, you have lands, you have buildings, you have all those things. You have land, you've built a house, you've bought a car, you've set up small momo business or petty trade business. You have cocoa joint, business somewhere. You have, some apampamu store somewhere, and all that. These are businesses that are really important if you really want to get if you really want to study abroad and you want your visa to get approved, especially if you didn't get any scholarship and you are going there to finance your studies. It's very important that at least you need to have these assets. So those of you have all these things, but you have not registered them, I would encourage you to go and register all these assets. Even if you have a Momo business, that small Momo business that you don't respect, go to Registrar General and register the Momo business in your name. You can register it as a sole proprietorship. Go and register because it is going to help you to be able to get your visa approved. So go and register that Momo business that you have. If you don't have any business at all, find a business, start a business and go and register. That land that you have that you are failing to register it, this is the time for you to go and register. That car that you have not registered and you are just, using it, traveling all around the place, you have not registered, go and register. So if you don't have any of these, big physical assets, it is not too late. You're a young graduate, you're a young person, you can still have one or two businesses that you can register. In Ghana or in Africa, you don't need big money. You don't even need money to be able to start a business. All what is important is that you have this idea, you have set up, this Momo business, and that, you want to just go and register. You can set up, some kind of an NGO. You don't need to even register it as a company. You can just register all your businesses as a sole proprietorship. If you register all your business as a sole proprietorship, that is going to be part of the assets and your ties to your home country. If you're able to register your Momo business or create one, if you have not created any business yet in 2023, create one and go and register it, because it is really going to help you to be able to get your visa approved. It's one of the things that will be required. Don't forget that I've talked about the bank statement. So I've talked about your personal savings. So if you're able to produce your personal savings and then you have these assets, you have a Momo business, you have registered, you have this transport business, you have registered, you have this farm somewhere, you have a farm business, you have registered for it. Imagine you are able to put all these documents together, and all these documents are before the visa officer, and he looks at it and take pictures of them. Take pictures of them. The Momo business you are doing, take pictures of them. The transport business you have, take pictures of them. Whatever business that you have, take pictures of them. Imagine you have all these businesses and you have taken pictures of all of them. You've compiled all of them together and you have submitted to the visa officer. Do you think the officer will deny you the visa? No. the visa officer will never deny your visa, especially when you tell them that you are going to study in the US or the UK or Canada. They will never deny you that. It's the reason why some people get their visa approved and you don't get yours approved, because you don't have sufficient asset to be able to prove to them that you are well to do enough in Ghana, and that when they give you the visa, you are not going to rely on the government, their government over there to survive. So it's very important that this year 2023, one of the key things that you need to have, or you need to at least establish, is for you to have those key documents. Start registering them. If you're a young person, you really want to study abroad, you really want to study in Europe and all that, start creating businesses and registering them. Create the business, register them. If possible, go ahead, create a business, bank account and all that. I know it is not hard to register a business in Ghana. I have done it before. You can also do it. So you can start from there. You don't need to have big money. Just create the businesses and then have those businesses. They're going to help you register your lands, register the asset that you have. Make sure you have done all those things in your name. If you're able to do all these things in your name, and you put all these documents together, they are really going to help you. More especially those of you who are unemployed. Those of you who don't work, who are not paid by a controller, you are not paid by anybody, you are just in the system, you don't know the work you're doing, you're not self-employed, you are not working for anybody, you are just moving up and down, you are just hustling. This is the right time for you to build asset for yourself. Okay, this is a time for you to build asset for yourself. So make sure that at least you have those assets well documented. The next thing that I want to talk about that you should look out for, or you should build a very strong foundation for, is your references. References, very, 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 very important. As part of the things that you need to do, make sure that you build a very strong relationship with your lecturers and your professors. A very key, it's really, really important. In fact, without your professors and your lecturers endorsing you, there is no way you can gain admission to study in any of the universities. But let me say this. Fortunately, I have been able to do a lot of research work on a lot of the universities in Canada that do not require references. I have done a lot of research work, and I've noticed that we have a lot of the schools and programs here that do not even require references. All they require is you just having your transcript and everything. So, but that is not to say that you should not have good references. I want to encourage you, one of the things that you should start doing right is to build a very good or strong relationship with your referees. It's a basic foundation that you need to have, because if you do apply for a school in the US or Europe or Canada, they will require you that you submit the names and emails of referees for them to endorse you. I know some other time I'll come and teach how you can go about getting very good, referees for you to get a scholarship or admission. You can also contact our company that we have set up, CEA Business Consult. We have our website, we have our email, we have our WhatsApp number. You can always come to us and we can talk about it. But it's very important that as part of the foundations that you are laying for yourself, you have to make sure that you have built a very strong relationship with people who have taught you, people who have known you. Please be respectful to your professors, your lecturers, and your supervisors at the workplace, because they are going to play an important role in your life when it comes to your traveling abroad journey. Because if the admission is done, if you're doing the admission, before you can be given admission, you need at least 2 referees to be able to recommend you that you are a good fit for the program and that they have taught you. You need these people to confirm all the things that you have actually written. Very, 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 very important here. So I will encourage you that if you don't have a good relationship with any of the lecturers, start building one. If you know some of them and you've just forgotten about them, start reaching out to them, because this year 2023 you will need them to endorse your applications. You need them to endorse your applications. Without them, there is no way you can succeed. Without it, there is no way you can do well. The next thing that I really want to talk about that you should start working on is your letter of appointment. I know that many of you, you are working either with the public or with the private sector, and sometimes you don't really take the letter of appointment that they have given it to you. But did you know that you could use your appointment letter as a means, to travel overseas? Did you know that? You didn't know that, but I'm here to tell you that you can use the appointment letter that you have, to your advantage to be able to, to travel overseas. How do you do that? One, if you are working with the public sector, try looking out for conferences, try looking out for workshops, try looking out for seminars, try looking out for summer programs. If you're able to get summer programs or conferences, webinars, seminars, overseas, because you are working with a company or you're working with the public sector, you can easily apply for a visa. And in that case, because you are a public, officer, okay, because you're a public officer and you have your appointment letter and you're working with them, you wouldn't struggle to be able to get a visa. You can just do your visa application and it will get approved because they know you're working with this company, this big company, and that, they're just going to, help you to be able to succeed. So make sure that the appointment letter that you have, you keep it safe. You don't just, throw it away and say, oh, this letter is not, I'm not paid so much and all that. No, it's very important that you keep it because you're going to need it for your education journey. And so I would encourage you that you should always try as much as possible to at least have that particular letter with you. If you have that particular letter with you, and those of you that your companies are not generating pay slips, they're not generating pay stubs for you, start talking to your companies to generate pay stubs for you, because those things are really going to help you to be able to push your visa application for you. Pay stubs or pay slips are really important. If you're working with a company and they're not generating pay stubs for you or pay slip for you, talk to them and let them work on it for you. Because traveling abroad to study, particularly those of you who are not on scholarship or who didn't get any scholarship, you will need a bunch of documents to be able to convince the visa officer to be able to give you the visa. In some cases, you will need to pay part of the tuition fee to be able to add the receipt to your visa application before the visa officer can approve your visa for you. And so that is why in my early submission, I explained to you that you need to start building the culture of savings. Because if you start building the culture of savings, that will go a long way to help you to be able to at least meet some of the expenses that you need to have. So I know that this year we are all preparing ourselves, to travel abroad, to study. For us, we are here and we are here to provide that kind of support, to everyone. Let me also say that there are a lot of people who are having challenges in terms of, getting access to resources. There are a lot of people who are having challenges, getting access to resources. Somebody will come into your inbox and say, oh, hey, how do I start, applying to school abroad? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? The key point is what I have, earlier on said to you. Be determined, be focused, be desperate, be resilient, be determined, and also be aggressive in whatever that you're doing. That's the first thing that you need to have. If you have this, that will go along to determine the actions that you're actually, embarking on. 2, you need to be disciplined with your personal savings. I said save, do a deliberate savings. so that when the time is due for you to generate a bank statement, you will be able to get it to support your visa application. Let me also add that with the finances, because application fee is not free and you need to pay, and so you need to at least do some savings on your own so that you'll be able to pay your application fee. Don't spend all your income, your savings and everything and be thinking that somebody somewhere will pay the application fee for you. It is not going to work. Traveling abroad to study is not free. You will need to, there's a price to pay. There is a price to pay for you to travel abroad. If you're not ready to pay that price, don't bother yourself traveling abroad. Stay in that comfort zone that you find yourself in. It costs money to be able to travel abroad. That is why I'm encouraging you to start savings now. Start your savings now. At least do some deliberate savings. If there are other businesses that you need to also do, make sure that at least add them and then generate some income from there so that you'll be able to have more money. I want to encourage you, if you are here and you are watching me, I want to encourage you that it is possible for you to travel abroad to study. It is very, 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 very possible. And that we can help you make your dream a reality. We can help you make your dream a reality. If you need a lot of resources, you need help with your school applications, with your school admissions, with your scholarship or whatever information that you need. If you need help, you need assistance in terms of how do I go about it? How do I, start my school application journey? How do I, even get the schools? Please reach out to us. You can just call us, on +1 513 461 5804 +1 513 461 5804. Please only WhatsApp. Don't call direct. Don't do a direct. If you call directly, I wouldn't pick. So just send a WhatsApp message to +1 513 461 5804 +1 513 461 5804. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this feed. And I'll end it here. And I would, if you have any question, please put it, comment, and let me just take your questions. You can, if you have any question, just comment, ask, and I would respond to whatever questions that you have. But this year, make it a target that you are actually going to travel this year to study, because things are not getting better. Things are going to get worse, especially those of you in Ghana. Things are going to get worse, and the earlier you start planning, the earlier you start having alternatives, the better it will be for you. I would encourage you to get the foundations right. Get all your documents, very important. Get your transcript, get your degree certificates, get all your reference letters ready. If possible, go and write the International English Language Testing System, that IELTS exams. If possible, write it, because it's going to help you. If possible, if you can write the Graduate Record Examination, what we call GRE. Those of you from the science and business background, I will encourage you to also write it, because it is going to go a long way to help you. If you write them and you're able to mobilize your document, it's really, really going to help you to be able to, to succeed. Traveling overseas to study is not a one-time event. It's a process. The process starts now. Don't wait for things to get out of hand before you think of embarking on studies. Do not wait for that long. Make it a point that, hey, I am going to embark on this trip. I need to gather all my educational documents, my WASI certificate, my academic transcript, my degree certificate. I need to also prepare my CV. CV is very important. I need to prepare my CV, and I need to start doing the research work. We have tons and tons and tons of information on Google, on over the internet. Make sure that you use your time profitably, because time is very important. How you use your time is really, really important, that you need to use your time wisely. Instead of going to pay money to these bloggers, going to subscribe to these bloggers and not getting the required knowledge, I would encourage you to always, check here, because we'll be coming live very frequently to educate you on some of the things that you need to know. If you need help with your admission process, with your school application process, please out to us, reach out to us via email ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com, ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com. Send us an email and we'll be more than happy to respond to you. I'll end it here, and if you have any question, please just put it there, and I'm going to read and answer you. Before I go, I would like to salute some few people here. I see Andrew Ewuno is here, Keofos is also here, Daniel is here, Nana Chunebo is also here, Michael also join us. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. For this broadcast, I would encourage you that continue monitoring this page. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe to our business YouTube channel, and we'll be able to help you from there. Thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.